I am not here to debate with anyone. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Hey, my IBMOR brothers, back in for a quick one. Now, I promised that I wouldn't get into beefs anymore, right? And this is really not a beef. A week or so ago, we were talking about, I think we were talking about Africa, and I just cursorily brought up the BAIO, and shout out to the BAIO, don't really have a beef with them. And a brother was part of the BAIO, was in my comment section, my chat. And he said he was a part of the BAIO and he wanted to come on. So I sent him a link and we went, through a back and forth. And I said what my issue was with the BAIO, because they wanted a country land of their own, country of their own for black folks in Africa, which is the issue that I had. Because I didn't think you could put an autonomous country inside a country that had so much strife between groups. That was my personal issue. So I brought the brother on. He was on for like 3 hours and we went back and forth, and basically we didn't make any headway because he had talking points, but he didn't have any details. So we went back and forth for 3 hours and it turned into a shouting match because people got into their feelings. So evidently he went back to the BAIO and said that we sunned him, or we basically dissed him, which we didn't. Because I never take my streams down. They're still up. If they really wanted to look at them and find out what happened, they could have actually gone there and watched it. But they took his word for it. I got no issue with that. So I'm on Dynast, search for Uhuru because somebody sent me a link. So I'm watching it, right? And I'm listening to the brother from another brother from BAIO. I really didn't have any disagreement with him with what he was saying. I just typed my stuff in the chat, and this brother from the BAIO happened to be in there, and he urged Dynast to actually put me on the show because it needed to be talked about. So, you know how it goes. I've been in so many live streams, and evidently my reputation must precede me because nobody wants to let you talk. And you say a few words and they cut you off, and they talk for 5 minutes. You ask a question and they talk for 10 minutes and don't answer the question. But that's here nor there. I mean, he basically confirmed exactly what I thought, exactly what we dealt with 15 years ago with the African countries on the continent. And you know what? I had no problem with the African countries on the continent. Their security is paramount and they do what they do. So I've never questioned what they do. I don't necessarily like it, but they do what they do for their reasons. And he confirmed that at this point, they can't put a city state or an autonomous state on the continent of Africa. They can't do it. In fact, nobody really can, which is what my premise was in the first place. But that's not why I'm here. There's something that I want to clear up because I don't mind being sunned. You can sun me, all right? If you know more than me, and I'm wrong, I'll humbly back down. In fact, at that point, he threw some information at me that I didn't think was true, but I didn't have my finger on it because I don't follow Africa like that anymore. I used to follow it continuously. But something he said was that China wasn't all over Africa, which everybody knows that it is. And he tried to ask me which country, because he said that all the time, like, you have 54 countries. So this isolated country here means it's not everywhere. That not all African countries are like that. All right. When we talk about a general idea, he did that twice. So he mentioned that there are no Chinese in Rwanda. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And he particularly said that Kagame was actually a Pan-African and he doesn't deal with China. That's what he insinuated. And I know that, when I was at USC in 2013 at a conference, at an African business conference, the first time they even showed the plan, the East African Corridor plan, a big ass map, right? I'm looking at Rwanda as part of it. I said, wait a minute. When I looked at the map, Rwanda was right in the middle of it. Uganda, Rwanda, all these African countries are actually in on it. I said, that doesn't sound right. I said, well, maybe I missed something. So I had to concede that, because when I'm talking on a hangout, I'm not doing research in the background, and somebody can throw in something, a sideways jab. And since I don't have my finger on it, I don't have my finger on the button, I can't prove it. So I have to concede the point that maybe, just maybe, he's right. So after we go back and forth and I actually get off, which I tried to get off like 4 times, because, when I'm on somebody else's show, man, I don't feel like blowing up somebody's show because there's contention. Actually, I really didn't even want to get on and hang out. Somebody tried to urge me to get on and hang out, and then Dynas actually urged me to get on and hang out. And when I knew it was going to be contentious, I tried to bow out. But anyway, what I want to clear up, I actually went to Google. Remember, Google is your friend. And I Googled Rwanda and China. Rwanda and Chinese. Rwanda and Chinese debt. So I'm hoping that the dude is right, man, because I don't really want it to be. Okay, maybe the dude's right. Kagame's not dealing with the Chinese. Chinese aren't in there. They're not building anything. They don't have any debt to the Chinese. Man, so I'm expecting not to find one article about China and Rwanda. And guess what I found? Well, I'm going to show you right now.
China is the only path that they had to actually build an infrastructure, a modern infrastructure, because Europe and America were not going to do it, or not. We're not going to help them do it. So China gives you the advantage. So there's things that I don't like about China, still don't like about China. They're customers. You're gonna have to deal with them. It is what it is. You basically made a devil's bargain, and you're just gonna have to wait and come out on the other side. It is what it is.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What specific country are you talking about?
The whole continent, especially which.
No. Because I can tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
China's not in Rwanda.
They will be.
They're not. They're not in Rwanda. Why? Because Paul Kagame is a real Pan-Africanist. He believes in Black power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The China's in Africa because the Africans, instead of embracing Pan-Africanism and working with it, Africa does not need China.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
I disagree.
No, they don't. They don't.
Okay, all right.
Africa does not need China.
Okay. Where were they going to get the tech from?
Okay, so first of all, Africa has a technology. You have technology all over the continent. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
China is. You know what China does? China takes everybody's technology, steals it, copies it, and sends fake stuff all over West Africa. They got fake Chinese stuff all over the country. What is China? China got bridges collapsing in Kenya. What are you talking about?
All right. Now, you all know I always say Google is your friend, right? And like I said before, I was hoping that I wouldn't find anything. I was hoping that what he said was true. I was hoping that we could bypass this. But he said Kagame is basically opposed to Chinese investment. There's no Chinese in Rwanda because Kagame is a true Pan-African. Right? Remember that? Heard it out of his mouth. There are no Chinese in Rwanda. Okay? So why, when I'm perusing, one of the first articles that pop up that I actually saw was this. Rwanda's Kagame endorses Chinese investment in Africa. And guess whose picture that is, shaking Xi's hand? Rwandan President Paul Kagame shakes hands with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping at the FOCAC summit in Beijing. Now, this is not Xi traveling to Rwanda. This is Kagame traveling to Beijing to do business.
to do business. This is an East African paper. To do business. A picture's worth 1,000 words. In other words, what he said was bullshit. Okay? I'm not going to read the article. Let's go further. This is another picture. This is in July 2018. Double debt risk for African countries that turn to China. Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame signed 15 bilateral deals in July 2018. But there are no Chinese in Rwanda. Kagame doesn't believe in it. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when African countries look for a loan or funding, they often want it quickly because they may have an emergency or an immediate problem. It can take up to 2 or 3 years for a lending institution to improve a loan. It appears quicker to get a loan from China. The Chinese are saying their loans are cheaper than they say the loans from the World Bank or developed countries. It's not entirely true. It's half true, said Kwon. Basically, yeah, it's a devil's bargain. Exactly what I said to him. It's a devil's bargain. But that looks like Paul Kagame to me. He doesn't look like his hand doesn't look like he's gonna slap Xi Jinping upside the head, does it? Does it? 15 bilateral deals. Oh, but it gets worse or better, depending on how you want to look at it. Are you hearing me, brother? This is why I love Google. It's your friend. You know, normally, back in the day, about 20, 30 years ago, I would have to go to the library. I'd have to look all this stuff up. I have to go to a photocopier and copy all this stuff down and then piece it together. But in 5 minutes, I can actually do all this, all assembled for me from all over the world. Boomtown, Kigali's Chinese investment. Chinese investment in Africa has increased at an unprecedented level during the past 2 decades, known as a weapon of mass constructions. China's footprint in Rwanda is no exception. Still recovering from the devastating 1994 genocide, the country urgently requires infrastructural and investment to rebuild what was destroyed and develop the future. Let's see. Rwanda Development Board, RDB, noted the major area of Chinese investment in Rwanda is in construction and real estate, hotels, and ICT. She went on to say that since 1994, China's investments stand at almost $200 million out of the more than $5 billion, which is less than 4% of the total investments. Projects included construction of high-profile landmarks such as the Marriott Hotel at $60 million through joint ventures, as well as Chinese-owned initiatives such as BCEG at $10 million. Okay? I thought there were no Chinese in Rwanda. But au contraire, that's not true. But the plot thickens. Here's the coup de grace, and I'll leave it. I might leave it here. I might do one more. We'll see. Rwanda is a landlocked country with few natural resources. So why is China
so investing in it so heavily. It's hard not to see China's footprint wherever one goes. In Rwanda, Chinese engineers have designed and built the country's tallest building, Kigali Center Tower, a gleaming 20-story glass skyscraper, the building that houses Rwanda's foreign ministry. Oh, wait a minute. There ain't no Chinese in Rwanda. According to a former Chinese ambassador to Rwanda, a sign on a primary school near government offices declares the school's playground a gift from China. Oh my goodness. Ain't no Chinese in Rwanda though. A clinic in town offers acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. There are less tangible signs too. Driving through Kigali's special economic zone, a free trade area on the outskirts of the capital, modeled after those that helped launch China's economic opening in the 1980s. A man stopped our car to tell us that he'd been learning Chinese at the local Confucius Center. But wait a minute, ain't no Chinese in Rwanda. A cultural institute run by China's Ministry of Education. He broke into song singing in Mandarin about how much he likes learning Chinese to the tune of Happy Birthday. But ain't no Chinese in Rwanda. Rwanda doesn't fit the usual narrative of China's interest in Africa, namely that China is only interested in Africa for its mineral wealth, expanses of arable land, and potential as a dumping ground for Chinese-made goods. Small, landlocked Rwanda has few natural resources, and with a population about half of Beijing's, it offers a negligible new market for Chinese products. Instead, private Chinese companies and entrepreneurs are investing in property, telecoms, manufacturing, and small-scale businesses like restaurants, car import outfits, and travel agencies. Big state-owned Chinese enterprises are building much of Rwanda's roads and infrastructure, but not in exchange for oil and mining rights, as has been the case elsewhere. But ain't no Chinese in Rwanda. Let me do one more. I'll do one more. Even though this is my coup de grace, let me do one more. This is just to rub a little salt into the wound. I know I'm petty. They call me Sidney Petier. I'm petty. Rwanda to further advance ties with China for a common purpose and mutual benefit. Rwandan Finance Minister Uziel, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name, addresses the reception celebrating the 69th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China in Kigali, capital of Rwanda, on September 19, 2018. Uziel on Wednesday reiterated the commitment of the Rwandan government to further advance ties with China for their common purpose and mutual benefit. But there ain't no Chinese in Rwanda. Rwanda doesn't want Chinese investment. They're rejecting Chinese investment. They're rejecting Chinese deal. I don't mind being sunned. I don't mind being put in my place. I don't mind people bringing me information where I'm wrong. I don't mind people telling me to my face that they disagree with me. I don't mind people telling me to my face that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because if I don't, I don't. I will humbly take that L and put my tail between my legs and I walk away because I'm wrong. I learned a lesson. Sometimes the lesson is hard. And I'm one of those people that do not like being wrong. You know, when I don't know, I keep my mouth shut. Because I do not like being wrong. I'm just like my daughter and my grandson. We don't like being wrong. Well, if we're wrong, we'll shut the fuck up. We'll walk away with our tail between our legs and we won't say nothing. We'll take the L. But I don't like being lied to. Now, I don't know if the brother said he's knowledgeable. And if he's knowledgeable, he has to know about this because this is readily available. So I'm taking on his word that he knows what he's talking about. And if he knows what he's talking about, either he's unknowledgeable and needs to bone up on his knowledge, or he straight up lied to me. I'm hoping that he's ignorant of the fact. Now, like I said, I sat there in 2013 when they first presented the East African corridor that China was paying for. And at the time, it was $100 billion. It's more than that now. I sat there, and Rwanda and Uganda were part of the goddamn thing. There were a big ass map. A big fucking ass map. They went all the way to the top, damn near to the top of the ceiling. A big ass fucking map. And they showed it. The routes they were putting in, the rail lines they were going to put in, the roads, and how much the investment was for each country. And in front of all those people, you straight up lied because you wanted to prove a goddamn point. You overtalked me. You bullshitted me. And it came down to exactly what I said because you didn't want to concede the point that what I was saying was correct. You wouldn't even hear me out. That's the only reason I'm actually doing this video, because it's wasting my goddamn time, which is why I don't go on panels like Dynast. I don't even go to Dynast's channel. I don't even get in the goddamn chat room. I don't go to the BAIO and get in their chat room. I don't get on the line and try to debate him because I don't want to deal with that bullshit. This is the bullshit I do not like dealing with. Because you go back and forth, you don't deal with the goddamn facts, and you give me all this bullshit. When you can, anybody with a couple of fingers can actually go on Google and prove you goddamn wrong. But I'm gonna stop being petty. I'm gonna end this because I have no problem with the BAIO. I like organizations like that. Whether they're misguided or not misguided, they're out there doing something, and I appreciate that. So I don't have a beef with them. I've never gone looking for the BAIO, even though there's things that I disagree with. It is what it is. There's a lot of people I have disagreement with, but if they're black and they're doing something positive, I don't go bothering them. I don't go trolling them. I don't get on their panels and disagree. In fact, like I said, with Dynast, I didn't even want to get on because I know it's going to be some bullshit. I was hoping for respectful dialogue. I didn't get it. People think just because my YouTube channel is 4 years old or 5 years old, I just showed up yesterday. I didn't just show up yesterday. I've been to the continent. I talked to these people. My partner goes to the continent once or twice a year. He goes to London once or twice a year. My partner's written books. I got people in my circle who have businesses on the continent as we speak that I'm very good friends with. I've been good friends with them for like 12 years. They're not just talking about it, they're already doing it. I got people in Ghana that I know that are living there, that have businesses, that tell me about stuff all the time. Brother, you need to come. I know, I do. And I will. What I don't need is bullshit. Don't feed me that bullshit. What I need is correct information, accurate information, real life pragmatic steps, and I'm not getting that. I don't sell dreams. I tell realities. That's me. So people that sell dreams, I have no problem with that. But when I ask you a straight question, I expect you at the very least not to lie to me. You feel me? But anyway, at this point, I'm gonna drop the mic. Hell, I got 10 articles just lined up if I actually want to do rapid fire. But I think this is enough. I know there's gonna be some smoke, but if you want to bring me the smoke, go ahead. I've been doing this for too long. I basically stopped doing this about 3 or 4 years ago because I needed to do something else. I was tired of it. But if you want to bring smoke over here, bring it. But don't come with no bullshit. Come with facts. Come with something other than your feelings. You feel me? If you want to come on my channel, you can drop me a link. My email is probably going to be somewhere on the video. You can email me if you got some smoke to bring. But don't bring me this goddamn inference. Bring me some hardcore facts. Just like I brought you. Peace.